Stop. Before you scroll past this, I need you to read the next 60 seconds carefully, because what I'm about to share could be the difference between catching something early and waking up in an emergency room wondering what went wrong. Every single day, women over 60 walk into cardiology clinics with the same story. I thought I was just tired. I assumed it was stress. I didn't think it was my heart. And that's exactly the problem. Because the most dangerous heart symptom affecting women over 60 right now is not chest pain. It's not a racing heartbeat. It's not something dramatic that forces you to stop and pay attention. It's quiet. It's subtle. And most women, even intelligent, health-conscious women, are dismissing it every single day. I'm Dr. Name, a board-certified cardiologist with over 20 years of experience treating women's heart disease. And in that time, I've seen one pattern repeat itself more than any other. Women who knew something was off, but didn't know what they were feeling, had a name. Here's what nobody tells you. Heart disease is the #1 killer of women over 60 in the world. Not cancer, not stroke, the heart. And yet, the symptoms women experience are fundamentally different from what men feel. Different enough that even doctors miss them. Different enough that the research ignored them for decades. That changes today. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 5 quiet heart symptoms women over 60 are most commonly ignoring, ranked from serious to the one that should stop you cold. And number 1, it's something you've probably felt in the last 30 days and brushed off completely. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will know your body in a way most women never get the chance to. Let's begin. Let's start with something most women write off completely. Symptom number 5, jaw pain or neck discomfort, with no obvious cause. Not a toothache, not tension from sleeping wrong. This is a dull, persistent ache that shows up in your jaw, your neck, or even your upper back, and then disappears just as quietly as it came. Here's the science behind it. When the heart muscle is under stress, when blood flow becomes restricted, it sends distress signals through a network of nerves. But those nerves don't just connect to your chest. They travel upward into your shoulders, your neck, your jaw. This is called referred pain, and in women, it shows up in these upper body areas far more frequently than it does in men. A landmark study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association found that women experiencing a cardiac event were 3 times more likely than men to report jaw and neck discomfort as their primary symptom, with no chest pain at all. 3 times. I had a patient, Margaret, 64 years old, retired school teacher, who came to me after 6 months of visiting her dentist for unexplained jaw pain. 2 root canals later, her teeth were fine. Her heart was not. We caught a 70% arterial blockage just in time. Her dentist had no idea. She had no idea, and she almost paid for that ignorance with her life. The fix? If you experience recurring jaw or neck discomfort, especially during physical activity or emotional stress, do not wait. Request a cardiac workup from your doctor. Specifically ask for an EKG and a stress test. Be firm. Be specific. You know your body. Now let's move to symptom number 4, and this one is even easier to dismiss. Symptom number 4, extreme fatigue that sleep doesn't fix. Not normal tiredness. Not the kind that disappears after a good night's rest. This is a deep, heavy exhaustion that sits in your bones. You wake up tired. You feel tired after doing almost nothing. Simple tasks, cooking a meal, walking to the mailbox, folding laundry, leave you needing to sit down. And what do most women do with this symptom? They blame age. They blame hormones. They push through it. Here's what's actually happening inside the body. When the heart is struggling to pump blood efficiently, your muscles and organs are not getting the oxygen they need. Your body, trying to compensate, begins rationing energy. It slows you down, on purpose, to protect your vital organs. That crushing fatigue? That's your heart sending an SOS signal through the only language your body has. Research from the American Heart Association found that in women who had experienced a heart attack, over 70% reported unusual fatigue in the weeks leading up to the event. Weeks, not hours. This wasn't sudden. It was a slow, quiet warning that was ignored or explained away. One of my patients, Carol, 68, told me she spent 3 months thinking she was simply getting older. She cut back her activities. She napped more. She stopped going on her evening walks. When she finally came in, her heart was working at less than half its normal capacity. We intervened. She recovered. But those 3 months mattered. The fix? Track your energy. If your fatigue is worsening over weeks with no clear cause, illness, poor sleep, life stress, put it on paper. Write down when it happens, how long it lasts, and what you were doing. That pattern is evidence. Bring it to your doctor. Don't let anyone dismiss it as just aging, because aging is not supposed to feel like this. You've made it this far, and I need you to stay focused, because what I'm about to share is where most women's stories take a turn they never saw coming. We've talked about jaw pain. We've talked about fatigue. Those are subtle, deniably, easy to explain away. Symptom number 3 is different. Symptom number 3, shortness of breath during activities that never bothered you before. Not gasping, not a dramatic struggle for air, just a quiet awareness that something has changed. Climbing one flight of stairs leaves you winded. Walking across a parking lot feels harder than it used to. You pause mid-sentence because you need a breath you didn't used to need. And you tell yourself, I'm just out of shape. I need to exercise more. But here's what's actually happening. When the heart's pumping function begins to decline, fluid can quietly begin building up around the lungs. Not enough to cause a crisis immediately. Just enough to make every breath slightly harder than it should be. This condition, called diastolic dysfunction, is significantly more common in women than men, particularly after 60. And because the changes are gradual, women adapt to them without even realizing it. They slow down. They take elevators instead of stairs. They stop doing the things that make them breathless. They don't recognize the symptom because they've quietly rearranged their entire life around it. A study from the Mayo Clinic found that women with undiagnosed heart failure were twice as likely as men to attribute their breathlessness to weight gain, deconditioning, or anxiety, delaying diagnosis by an average of 14 months. 14 months. I think about a patient named Helen, 71 years old, former dance instructor. She told me she had simply slowed down naturally. She stopped teaching classes, stopped dancing at her granddaughter's wedding because she was afraid of getting winded. She thought she was just aging gracefully. She was actually in the early stages of heart failure. We caught it. We treated it. She danced at her granddaughter's second wedding 2 years later. But not every woman gets that second chance. The fix? Pay attention to your baseline. Think about what you could do 1 year ago, 2 years ago, compared to today. If your breathlessness has quietly increased over time, that trajectory matters. Ask your doctor for an echocardiogram. It is a simple, painless ultrasound of the heart. It can detect diastolic dysfunction early. It can give you answers before a crisis forces them. Don't wait for a crisis. Now, symptom number 2. This one is the most misdiagnosed symptom I see in my entire practice. Symptom number 2, swelling in the feet, ankles, or lower legs, especially toward evening. You take off your shoes at the end of the day and notice the indentation left by your sock. Your ankles look puffy. Your feet feel tight inside your shoes by afternoon. And you think, I've been standing too long. I need better shoes. It's just water retention. Here is the truth. When the heart is not pumping with full efficiency, blood begins to pool in the lower extremities. Gravity pulls it down, and the weakened heart cannot pull it back up fast enough. Fluid leaks out of the blood vessels and into surrounding tissue. This is called peripheral edema, and in women over 60, it is one of the earliest and most reliable signs of cardiac stress. What makes this so dangerous is that it looks so ordinary. Swollen ankles are so common in older women that they have become normalized. Shoe companies design for them. Compression sock advertisements target them. Nobody talks about what they might actually mean. A 2023 study in the European Heart Journal found that women who reported persistent lower limb swelling were 2.4 times more likely to be diagnosed with early-stage heart failure within the following 18 months, yet fewer than 30% had discussed the symptom with their doctor. Less than 30%. I had a patient, Barbara, 66, who had worn compression stockings every day for 2 years before she came to see me. Her previous doctor had told her the swelling was from varicose veins, from too much salt, from long days on her feet. Nobody had ordered a single cardiac test. Within 1 week of her first appointment in my office, we had identified significant heart valve dysfunction that had been silently progressing for years. She cried in my office, not from fear, from relief, from finally being heard. The fix? If your ankles or feet swell regularly, particularly if the swelling is worse in the evening, if it's in both legs, or if it has been gradually worsening, this needs cardiac evaluation. Not just compression socks, not just dietary changes, a real conversation with a cardiologist about your heart function. You deserve more than a bandage solution. We have now covered 4 of the 5 symptoms: jaw pain, crushing fatigue, unexplained breathlessness, swollen ankles. Each one serious, each one commonly dismissed. each one carrying real documented risk. But none of them compare to what is coming next. Symptom number 1 is the one that stops my cardiologist colleagues mid-conversation when I bring it up at conferences. It is the symptom that affects the most women. It is the symptom that is most frequently ignored. And it is the symptom that, left unaddressed, carries the highest risk of sudden cardiac death in women over 60. Are you ready? Take a breath. Because what I'm about to tell you is the reason I made this video. This is the symptom I think about when I leave the hospital at night. The one that keeps cardiologists like me awake. The one that has taken women we loved, mothers, grandmothers, sisters, friends, before anyone realized what was happening. Symptom number 1, a persistent feeling of doom, dread, or something is just wrong. No pain, no visible sign, no dramatic warning, just a feeling. A quiet, unsettling, bone-deep sense that something inside your body is not right. Women describe it differently. Some say they felt a strange sense of anxiety they couldn't explain. Others say they felt disconnected, like they were watching themselves from a distance. Some simply say they knew. They knew something was wrong. They just didn't know what. And almost every single one of them said nothing. Because how do you walk into a doctor's office and say, "I just have a bad feeling"? How do you call an ambulance for a feeling? Here is the science, and it is extraordinary. When the heart is in serious distress, the autonomic nervous system, the part of your brain that runs beneath conscious thought, begins firing emergency signals throughout your entire body. Your body knows before your mind does. It registers the crisis at a cellular level, and it communicates that crisis the only way it can, through feeling, through instinct, through that primal ancient alarm system that evolution built into every human being to keep them alive. This phenomenon has a clinical name. Researchers call it anger animi, Latin for anguish of the soul. It has been documented in cardiac literature for over a century, and yet it remains one of the least discussed, least diagnosed, and most consistently dismissed symptoms in all of women's cardiology. A groundbreaking study from Harvard Medical School followed over 28,000 women for a period of 10 years. Researchers found that women who reported unexplained feelings of anxiety, dread, or a sense that something was deeply wrong with no psychiatric history were significantly more likely to experience a major cardiac event within the following 12 months. Not years, months. And the women who acted on that feeling, who pushed past the fear of being dismissed, who insisted on being evaluated, caught their conditions in time. The women who talked themselves out of it, many of them did not get a second chance to listen. I need to tell you about Patricia. Patricia was 63 years old, a retired nurse, a woman who had spent her entire career taking care of other people's health. She knew the human body better than most people ever will. 3 weeks before her cardiac event, she told her daughter, "I just feel strange, like something is coming. I can't explain it." Her daughter told her she was probably just anxious, overworked, dealing with retirement stress. Patricia told herself the same thing. She was a nurse. She would have known if something was seriously wrong, wouldn't she? She came into my colleague's emergency department on a Tuesday morning. She had ignored the feeling for 21 days. We saved her life. But the damage to her heart muscle was significant. Damage that could have been minimized, possibly prevented entirely, if she had walked through those hospital doors 3 weeks earlier. When she recovered, she said something I have never forgotten. I knew the whole time. I just didn't trust myself enough to say it out loud. That sentence has stayed with me for years. Because that is the real epidemic killing women over 60. Not just heart disease, the belief that their instincts are not worth listening to, the fear of being seen as dramatic, the conditioning of a lifetime that taught them to minimize, to wait, to not make a fuss. Your instincts are not hysteria. Your feelings are not overreaction. Your body is not lying to you. The fix? If you feel without any clear explanation that something is wrong with your body, trust that feeling enough to act on it. Go to an emergency room. Call your cardiologist. Say these exact words. "I have an unexplained sense that something is wrong with my heart and I need to be evaluated." A good doctor will listen. And if they don't, find one who will. Because you have spent your whole life taking care of everyone else. It is time to take care of you. Let's take a moment. Because you just did something most people never do. You stayed. You listened. You chose to take your health seriously. And that decision alone puts you ahead of the majority of women who will scroll past this video today without a second thought. So let me bring everything together for you. We covered 5 symptoms. 5 quiet, subtle, easily dismissed warning signs that your heart may be trying to tell you something important. Number 5. Jaw or neck pain with no obvious cause. That dull, wandering ache that your dentist couldn't explain. That stiffness in your neck that blamed itself on your pillow. It may not be coming from your jaw at all. It may be coming from your heart. Number 4. Extreme fatigue that sleep cannot fix. Not tiredness. Not laziness. A deep cellular exhaustion that has been quietly stealing your energy, your activities, and your joy, while your heart struggles to keep up with the demands of your day. Number 3. Shortness of breath during activities that never challenged you before. The stairs you now avoid. The walks you've shortened. The moments you pause mid-sentence for a breath you didn't used to need. Your body adapted. Your heart was asking for help. Number 2. Swelling in your feet, ankles, or lower legs. The sock indentations. The tight shoes by afternoon. The compression stockings you accepted as simply part of getting older. Fluid your heart was too tired to move. A signal hiding in plain sight. And number 1. That quiet, unexplained feeling that something is just wrong. The most powerful diagnostic tool you possess. The one symptom no machine can measure and no blood test can capture. Your own deep knowing. The alarm system your body built specifically to protect you. 5 symptoms. 1 message. Your heart is speaking. The only question is, are you listening? Here's what I want you to do right now. Not tomorrow. Not after dinner. Right now. First, think about your own body. Have you felt any of these symptoms in the last 30 days? Even one? Write it down. Date it. Start a simple health journal on your phone or a piece of paper. Pattern recognition saves lives. Second, share this video with every woman over 60 in your life. Your mother, your sister, your best friend, your neighbor who mentioned she's been feeling tired lately. You may not know which woman needs this information today. Share it anyway. Let the algorithm decide who needs to hear it. Third, if anything in this video made you think that sounds like me, please do not wait. Call your doctor this week. Ask specifically for a cardiac evaluation. Request an EKG. Ask about an echocardiogram. Use the language you learned here. Be your own advocate. Because here is what I know after 20 years of practicing cardiology. The women who survive are not always the healthiest. They are not always the youngest. They are not always the ones with the best genetics or the cleanest diet. The women who survive are the ones who listened. The ones who trusted themselves enough to make the call, to walk through the door, to say, something is wrong and I deserve to find out what it is. You are not being dramatic. You are not overreacting. You are not wasting anyone's time. You are a woman who has spent decades showing up for everyone around you. Your children, your partner, your parents, your colleagues, your community. You are allowed to show up for yourself. Heart disease is not inevitable. Caught early, managed well, taken seriously. It is one of the most treatable conditions in all of medicine. Women who identify these symptoms early and take action live, full, active, vibrant lives well into their 80s and 90s. That future is available to you, but only if you choose it today. So here is my final question for you, and I genuinely want to know. Which of these 5 symptoms have you or someone you love experienced and dismissed? Tell me in the comments below. Not just because it helps this video reach more women who need it, but because when you write it down, when you say it out loud, you begin to take it seriously in a way that silent worry never allows. Your comment might be the thing that saves your own life, or the life of another woman reading it 6 months from now. If this video helped you, if it gave you language for something you've been feeling, or clarity you didn't have before, please subscribe. Hit the notification bell, because every week I bring you exactly this kind of information. The real science, the honest conversations, the things your cardiologist wishes they had more time to tell you in a 15-minute appointment. You deserve a doctor who talks to you like this. Consider this channel that doctor. I'll see you in the next video. Take care of your heart. It has been working for you every single second of your life. It's time to work for it.